this over here. Hello, everybody. Welcome. John Lemcool here, your servant of the voicing world. Let's get into having fun with sounds. Let's see here. I need to do my normal house cleaning I do each week. Zoom in. Zoom over here, get our mirror effect. Make that go away. Yes, there's a new library coming for Razer. I love Razer to death. It is truly one of my favorite synthesizers. Loved it for a very long time. So we will be looking at that some because it is a pretty amazing sounding synthesizer. Yeah, let's see here. Let's go over here. Greetings and salutations. Yes, everything sounds good. You guys can hear. Let's make sure this is a. We hear, yes. We hear the clicking and the popping. There's a couple problems with Razer. I love how unique it is sound-wise. I wish it was more than 6 voices of polyphony. And I wish it was a little easier on CPU usage, but what it does is so cool and unique in sounds. So this is my third library for Razer. Evil Razer was one that I first brought out, I think, in 2013. Dubstep was owning the world, so... all sorts of those types of sounds. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what makes Razer so unique. This is an ensemble, by the way, just so we're clear. Well, let's do some more housekeeping stuff. I got to share this link. Let me go over here and tell live stream happening, new library for Razer, right? Being shown, and first ever community programming event. That's what I'm calling this. Details, details shared. It's fetching a preview, and of course it's the old thumbnail. I gotta talk to somebody to find out what's going on. Why you can't do an update to the thumbnail when I changed it last night. I changed it last night. It's supposed to be okay. So let's see here. Fetching a preview once again. Yeah. Publish. So real quickly, this video is of course sponsored by my humble website, pluginguru.com. I have many patch libraries. So here's my website. If you need libraries for any of these synthesizers, Omnisphere, Contact 5, Serum, Break Tweaker, Stylus RMX, there's single products for Synth, Spire, BOOOO even is covered. We have a library that's really great. Please come to my website. I appreciate your business very much. Del Norte for Contact 5 was just released, and a lot of people are really happy with that. I'm very happy with that. So that is going on. Everyone liked the video. Yeah, like the video. Cool. Thank you. Okay, so we are looking at 2 things today in particular. There's other things. There's a percussa question. So one of my customers asked that we're going to look at. So, which is in regards to the imager effect. What is the imager effect, and why what is it for? What can it be used for? Why are we using it the way we are using it in this particular multi? Because it does a very cool thing. So we'll look at that. Oh, I've got all sorts of pausing to video I can do to... oh, and let's go here and say chat, live stream, and chat here. Oh, wait. Okay, so got that all set. Great. So, Razor. Is that a beer? No, it's Arnold Palmer. Iced tea lemonade. My favorite drink. Mostly iced tea, just a little bit of lemonade, give it a little bit of a kick. But no beer. No beer at noon. Oh, before I do this, so I've gotten really great reports, and I'm going to go see tonight Blade Runner 2049. So far, people are from, it's a little long, a little bombastic, but a lot to take from it, to other friends saying it blew me away, and it's as equally incredible as the original. So I can't wait to see it tonight. It'll be really fun. Hey, Harold, Michael, Peter, so many nice people. Thanks for joining us. So we're going to look at mainly two things. I'm going to give you an overview of Razor and why I think it is maybe my favorite synthesizer as far as synthesis goes. We also have coming up this, the Make It Scary community programming event. Starting today until the 17th, I'm inviting everybody to make scary patches using just the samples inside of Omnisphere. And I'm going to put them all together, and I'm going to release that for free on like the 17th, maybe the 18th. Maybe I might need a day or something to organize it, so that everybody can get those patches for free and write a demo song for Halloween using some of those scary patches. And the winner will be getting, there'll be 3 winners. There'll be prizes from my website, free libraries to download. I think maybe like 3 libraries to the winner of your choice, 2 libraries to second place, 1 library to third place. But I want you guys to get into programming and enjoying programming and and knowing about programming. So we're going to look at Omnisphere. I'm going to show you from scratch what to do to make your own programs. So stick around, don't leave, this will be fun. But it's a programming community event. Never done one of these before, but I thought, you know, Halloween is one of those times where it's fun to make scary things and stuff. So you guys do programming, I'm gonna give those for free. And just before Halloween comes out, I have a library for Omnisphere. I'll show you a few teaser patches called BOOOO. And it will include all of your patches for free, plus all the patches that I make between now and then. So there's 2 libraries coming out this month. It's been a busy month. There's the one for Razor, and then there's the scary library for Omnisphere, using just factory patches samples. I'm not gonna put any samples into it, but maybe next year that can be something to look at doing. But this is for you guys to get into programming. This is Plugin Guru. This is about programming, and I share all this information on how to program sounds, and it just makes sense. I'm gonna make you guys make patches. So get ready. So we'll look at that in a little bit. But first we're going to look at Razor, because this is such a cool... So this is the library, Razor Chill, the artwork by Matt Chowsky. I love his artwork. Here, let me zoom out so you can see the whole thing, because it's really cool. Zoom all the way out. So that is the artwork we're working on for this library. It's a really cool library in what it's turning into. So let me share some of that with you while I share what's so cool with this particular engine, why I tell you the guys that I love it so much. Yes, it will be programming time. It's time for you guys to get the gloves on or take the gloves off, whatever it is, and enjoy making sounds. That's what it's all about. So Razor is unique in that, here, let's do this. Let's start with an init patch. The concept for Razor came about actually 6 years ago in 2011 when Contact 5 came out. They added an engine to all the multiple engines inside of, not Contact, I'm sorry, Reactor. Reactor 5 came out. That's what happens when you make libraries for Contact and Reactor and they're all both labeled 5. For Reactor 5, it was this new engine that was made specifically for this ensemble. I believe they had been working on it for a while. It's 300 and it's kind of an additive synth engine in that there's 320, and I could put it to 3D so you can. And what was cool with this is, let's just turn on Spectral Clip. It's able to do literally like razor-like surgery to these 320 partials that make up the sound. And when you click, I love the interface because each one of these boxes you click on give you multiple selections up here as to different types of presets for whatever it is. If it's an oscillator, there's presets for the oscillator. Like if you go to primes, if we close this, you can see it gets even more radical than that when you get to some of these like sick pitch bend. So to have that kind of surgical control over the harmonics is really cool. The dual. The other thing that's cool are the filter types get rather unique, including vocoder. Why do I not hear vocoder? Val is what I want. Not, vocoder is for the input. And if you combine this with the, where are you at? Formant. You get really, really cool harmonics this way. And each one of these selects is like a different person. So the types of waveforms, look at that waveform shape. The other thing that's awesome is there's things like the noise. We could get into the different types of the things that can mathematically do the sounds is incredible. Like if you go Centroid, this is really cool because it can go from so you can just do extreme things. And then maybe my favorite and one of the more signature things is the reverb is actually part of the oscillator. It's not an effect. It's actually in, which means you have this really long, you use pitch bend. Your pitch bend and the reverb. And if you set the pitch bend up here to be something crazy, right? So you have these extreme controls to make really amazing sounds. And so if I go to the ensemble, to the user, these are some of the patches that I did for Evil Razor and Rotten Razor. Oh, it went back to the embedded. Stop that. We want to stay here on this. Oh, we're still here showing some of the... So we can create some really interesting... I mean, there's nowhere else I can think of you can make a... So Rotten Raver and Evil Rays were both made during the time when like music was more of an aggressive, evil stuff, and we're no more into the EDM clean chill. And it's like there's no patches for this yet like that. So that's what this library is about. Is instead of being all these in-your-face crazy things, it's again, look at the harmonic shifting. Rainy windows. Really cool pads. And there's just nothing that sounds like this. It has its own unique sound. And if you own any of the last 2 or 3 versions of Native Instruments Complete, this is included inside of your Reactor plugin. I'll show you how to get to that. It has this really cool echo, which you can turn on for the 3 different oscillators. Without this, oh, I gotta turn it off for everything else too. So if I turn this to be 0, actually, so if you also notice right here, underneath each of these knobs, there's 3 different modulation sources for here. And you click here and you can choose from all these, from pitch bend, key tracking, aftertouch, modulation wheel velocity. The echo step can be used as a modulation source. 2 LFOs, the side chain, which allows you to use like modulation wheel to control the intensity to the LFO, so you can get like synthesizer LFO on a mod wheel if you want, as well as the 3 envelopes. And if you turn off echo, keeps going back. I need to figure out what there's a few funny things that I'm still learning, relearning how. There's with echo on. And you can go to the delay, and there's a time value that you'll see up here in the middle. So if you set this to an even number like 2 or 4, then it's clocked to your sequencer. So you can. So it's following the clock of my sequencer, which is cool. And it went back. Okay. Actually, let's cancel this. I need to tell it not to do that. I set up this save host thing, and that messed something up, so it keeps going back to where I don't want it to go to. Other things in the library. There's really cool... And there's a really dry, like natural. And I created this with the format filter. So you can make a bazillion different guitars. And it's all DSP. There's no samples inside of this. Yeah, it went back. How frustrating is that? Sorry, I won't even try to explain it. I'm just gonna keep fixing. Here's hybrid. It's kind of got a CS80 vibe. stuff like that. Really cool pads. Okay. Ripples in time is cool. Very cool. And you can speed up or slow down the ripple effect. There's really nice warm pads. I was able to get some really cool unison synths like his, like 4 oscillator unison type. Okay, so it's singing in the acid rain. So it's more a normal library for Razor, which, you know, for a 6-year-old synthesizer, I think it's time for some new normal usable patches. Lots of killer basses. And the mod wheel. Warm mover. So I'll give you a full patch walkthrough later this week. I think next week it comes out. We're working to get it done. When will this patch came? Let's see what's going on in the chats. That's right. Can I add the effects folder? I was here. They're asking questions. There's a nice discussion going on in the YouTube chat. Great, cool. I have a couple demo songs that I was working on that use these new patches I want to show you. Here's one. I think that's just 2 patches and super muffin drums. Here's another idea. For that kind of vibe, then there's a there's 4 razors being used in this at once. So it's a really cool library. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. Just because something is 6-year-old doesn't mean it's not usable. To me, it's still a signature, unique. The reason I like it so much, it's very unique. There's not another synth that you can go to and say, make that type of sound. This can do things that other synths can't. And it can do things other synths can do at the same time. So it kind of gives it this really unique effect. Thanks, Ark. Yeah, a lot of people are excited. Yeah, so that is Razor Chill. So that will be coming out next week. Let's look at Omnisphere. And to start with, let's start with the customer question that I have been given. This is from Chris, one of my customers. Question, using your percussive sounds, very nice. I see, please see number Groove 125 Cinematic Trancer. I tried to discover how the imager works. There's not much info from Spectrasonics in the reference book. The effect is very interesting, but how it works, I don't understand. When you put it in the imager off, the reverb effect disappears. Can you help? Thanks in advance. So what we are talking about is this is the multi made by Airwave called Cinematic Trancer. I believe it's multi. Oh, multi. I can't remember. Did I make this? Edit tags. No. Laurent made this. So this is what it does. And the mod wheel. Okay. And I did some research, and the patch that I believe Chris is talking about is number 4. Because it has on the effects for number 4, the effects, imager. And if you turn this off, that pumping of the reverb goes away. And you just have ba 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 ba. Right? But when you turn this on, you have that sidechain pumping sound that everybody wants. Let me see, is there a sidechain imager type of effect on 5, 6? There is on 6. So that's what's going on 6. Let's just study. And if we turn off the imager, by having it on, it's got this like flow thing happening. The hi-hats have some velocity stuff, and without it, it's gone. So here's the thing with the imager. It's actually a multiple, I call it, there's a reason why this shows up under utility, because it has a volume gain, which you can use to control the volume of something very easily. If everything else, if I have compressors and limiters affecting the sound and getting the effect I want, a lot of times in this last slot, I'll put the imager if I'm too loud and I need to just shape it down a little bit, or I need to bring the whole thing up a little bit. It won't affect, it's not affecting the sound in any way. It also has auto pan. It's the only place you can go to for an auto pan effect that's just auto pan. So I could put this on the hi-hats. If I bring up the depth, my sound is now panning left and right, right? And then your rate is your standard rate control, where we could see here, and you can set to clock time, it's set to sync. If you turn off sync, then it's just by hertz. You don't have different shapes, so it's only going to go back and forth, back and forth. But sometimes you need that to break up the stereo imaging, so it has auto pan. It also has an imaging effect, which is great. A lot of the like Airwave or Kid Anthem uses this all the time to make things more mono, because so many sounds are really wide. So if you take, let's see, I'm not going to go in. Let's do this. Let's find a sound in here. Yeah. Like, let's go to 3. It's got valve radio. Okay. So let's put the imager right here, because when you put something on the common effects, whatever's happening before this, even the auxiliaries, all has to go through this common audio chain. So by putting this here and bringing up the imager, hear how it's really wide? Here's mono. And once it's mono, you can now pan it to the left or to the right. Interestingly, it seems the common effects are still... Oh, I think it's because it's being sent here. If I was to send it here, It's not perfectly mono. Interesting. But the sound itself, I can now control it. And if I set it to be wide, it's a really wide stereo effect. So this one effect can do auto panning. It can do stereo image control for how wide it is, how its stereo placement is, and it has gain. And we have found that this gain, when you control the volume of it, it's smooth. There's a little zippering, but there's less than there is on other effects. And so when we use this, and let's call back up the original, and we go to part 4, this sound, it's using the imager, and if we look at this and say show modulation, make sure you can see this. If you right click and say show the modulation, it says mod envelope. So if we go looking at mod envelope 1, here it is. It has this shape that it's doing to the volume, and that volume is bringing up and down the reverb. So it's a sidechain effect. And if you go here and you change the shape of this while it's playing, you could do all sorts of things to this. Let's get back to how it was. Okay, so you have, it's being used as a volume gate control. And so you can play with this mod envelope, call up other presets, all sorts of things if you want to change how it's basically, you have an envelope sitting here going up and down with the volume slider for you, and it sounds nice and natural. Okay? So, the imager is a utility. It's able to do a number of different functions all at once. Yes, imager is really powerful. We learn with you. To me, it is really great tail sign of good algorithm. Yeah, the reverb effect sounds really interesting. Oh, you guys are talking about... They're talking about reverb in the chat. We won't go into what they're talking about. They're talking about plugins and all sorts of different things. You have to be here for the live events. If you're seeing this after the live event, I'm sorry you missed these, because there's 50 plus people in here chatting away, having a good time. All right, so that's the customer question for the week. Now it's time to get spooky. This is what we are going to be playing with for the rest of the live stream. We're going to be making some patches. I'm going to be showing you the process from start. Let's see, zoom out so you can see the full awesome artwork that I did. Isn't that scary? Look at those angry, scary faces and happy faces. So it's a community programming event. The idea is this: between the 7th and the 17th, make patches, as many as you want. If you make just one, cool. If you make 17, cool. And then I will send out on the newsletter channel instructions of where to email the patches to me. I'll put them all together. I'll go through and make sure tags are right, make sure that they're in the right types of folders, all that kind of stuff. And then we will send that library as a free download for you to go download. And we will have a songwriting competition using those sounds. Hopefully some other library sounds from other Plugin Guru libraries as well. And then before Halloween, we will rate the songs and we'll put them up on a SoundCloud playlist for everybody to be able to share their songs to. I've never done anything like this before, so I might mess up. So I'm apologizing ahead of time if I mess up. Hopefully I don't. But it's a community programming event. It's to get everybody involved in programming with Omnisphere 2, if you have Omnisphere 2. I'll do other programming events in the future for other libraries, I think, or for other plugins. I think Serum would be an interesting one to see what people come up with for Serum, things like that. So this is definitely not the first and only time we're going to do this. I've been working on a library. I'll show you a couple of the patches. it's in there, but it's being surrounded with a whole bunch of other stuff. So let's go initialize. I don't know if you realize how many filmic, scary, cinematic, crazy sounds there are inside of Omnisphere 2. So part of this is also just to get you to realize what you have. I think a lot of you, it's great. I love it's. I mean, of course, when a customer goes, I just got Omnisphere 2 and I can't wait to buy your libraries. And I don't know if you guys realize what this has in it to start with. So I'm kind of doing Spectrasonic support by doing this, but I want you guys to dig into Omnisphere. There's so much in the database. So here's a couple of the patches I've got. This is a drone. We have screaming bombers. There's painful screams in there. Aiming. This is cool because have I seen you before? Thank you, Tara. That's nice. Okay, so for you to do this, let's see. We will save these into the user folder, and then you can send. You need to make sure, and there's a Facebook group for Omnisphere that I'm a moderator and watcher of, and answer questions. And if someone sends up a song, I'll make the patch for the song real quick and put it up there for them to download. And one of the things that's been kind of made clear is a lot of people's Spectrasonics folder, their Steam folder, is not organized quite right. So I want to show you real quickly. When you go to the Omnisphere folder and you open this and you go to the settings library, say patches, down here you should have a user folder, and when you open the user folder, it should have these folders in it. We had a case where I saw a screenshot and someone's user folder had his name for a folder. And that's not what you want. The way that Spectrasonics works is Omnisphere works where it's looking for this set of folders, and when you save into one of these folders, it gives you a set of tags to use so that the trons and optical tags are different than the synth-based tags, which is different than the human voices, which has like male, female, ah, ooh, ah, all these different things are connected to each of these folders. And when you get Omnisphere and you're here on your patches, I don't have it in here, but there should be a zipped file called current categories. And that gives you the ability to recreate a folder with the Spectrasonics approved set of folders to use. And if you have that and unzip it and then take that folder and name it, it won't show up here until you actually have a patch in it. So when I'm building a new library for the first time and I'm saving patches, I'm saving them to start with. When I go save this patch as, to start, I always have to save a patch into the user folder, into the proper place. And then you go down here to that user folder and you move that patch into your newly created folders with the same layout into that location. Then you restart your digital audio, your DAW. And now that folder, when you start up, will show up inside of your list. If you don't do those steps, it will not show up. So the best thing to do for you will be to save them just to your user folder and leave it at that. Don't worry about making a new library and organizing it. You don't have to do that. And if you don't do that and you just give me the patch, I can put it into the proper folder, and then we have the ability, once it's in the right folder, to hit edit tags at any time. And here's where, like, because this is in the hits folder, I have all these different hit tags that I can use. But if I was, if I'd called up a drone and I go over here and I hit that edit tags, It's a whole different order. It's a whole different list. The type. These are all sorts of different tags that pertain to drones that don't pertain to hits. So that's why these folders exist. That's why they are where they are. That's why when you save a patch, you want to make sure you try to save it into one of these folders when you're starting. It will give you the tag list appropriate for the patch you're saving. Okay, so just want to put that here at the top. So that is that. Now, if you are new to making patches, here's the rules. Do not start with somebody else's patch, ever. That's plugin guru rule number 1. If you're making a house, you don't go to somebody else's house and tear down a couple shingles and put new shingles up and call it your house. Same here. The number 1 rule for anybody that ever works with me is you make patches from scratch. For these competitions, if you can't, and if you start with an existing patch, that's okay. These are free patches. They're included. But I do know that the Omnisphere programmers for the factory voicing, they don't appreciate when people use their patches and then turn around and sell them, which happens a lot. None of my libraries, none of these have any patches made from anything inside of Omnisphere. That's one reason why they're different from what's in Omnisphere is I'm starting from scratch so that it's me. You want to buy original patches. Same with Airwave, Exosun, Kid Anthem, Tim Dale, Jason Schopfer, all the guys that have made patches for me, every one of their patches are from scratch. I can't accept it if it's not. So if you want to do the full like legit, then you go initialize patch. Well, initialize multi is safe because that initializes everything to make sure that you're on patch 1. Nothing else is playing. We can even close this so we don't see that right now. Oh, but we'll need that in a minute. So, okay. So let's play with samples because I want to show you guys, if you go sample and you hit the folder and you just go up here and choose core library. That way it stops this list from showing all your user libraries. It shows only the stuff that's the core library. And now you can go through this list of thousands of sounds. And there's all sorts of ways to look for, you can click here to say, I want, let's say, edgy or something. A good one that I use quite often, I don't know if I see it where it is at. You could set like lo-fi hits or cymbal hits. What I do is I just type in hit. And that way you get a list which contains a ton of all sorts of samples of so these are all great fodder. You could take something like this. Let's have fun with this for a minute. Let's go over here and turn on granular. Go to the position. Let's have some pitch grains. That might be fun to play with, so have it start really insane. And let's modulate this with an envelope. And let's invert it so that the blue arrow is going to the left. It's using mod envelope 1, which is currently looping. So let's turn off the loop. And let's choose, like I happen to have a patch. I use this a lot. String swell. Because it goes... Let's say I only want to do like this. Cool. So we could start with that. And then let's find something for the B layer. Turn this on. go to sample and let's say let's look for things and make sure we change category to be core. Insane horse from the Xperi bass. Insane flange. The washing machine guitar is insane. Okay. This would be fun. So let's put that with the yeah, that's kind of scary. That's without any effects. I haven't used effects. It's important. Don't go to effects first. Once you have halfway through the sound, do not do it. Do not go to the effects until later. You want to make sure that your person is not just a skeleton with makeup. Effects are makeup for the most part. They make you, you know, glossy. They change the vibe. But you want to make sure you have meat on the bones. And actually I should turn off links. I want this to not have any. And then I'm gonna turn on link for the amp release. That's cool. So now you can play around with the effects. Let's say we go to the effect racks, to these mixes, and look for like compressed delay verbiage would be cool. Magical delay verbiage, let's try that. Let's make a delay be like half notes. And what's nice with this is it turns on everything with EQ, a compressor, delay, and reverb in one call up from one preset. Without it, right? With it, cool. And let's have the mod wheel, just for fun, let's have the modulation wheel play with pitch. So we can like... And while it's doing that, it gets kind of harsh and loud. So let's go to the amp and let's have it so that we have the mod wheel inverted. So it's going to make it softer while it goes up in pitch. But it's not touching the cello, the insane cello, whatever this is on B. I didn't have, I'm not using, pitch bend would do both right now. So what's fun with stuff like this is you can have pitch change just on one layer instead of another. And I want the cello to stand out a little bit more. A good place to do for that is using the wave shaper. There's the crusher, which can like seriously mess it up. There's 4 different types of wave shapers, which ooh. That seems like it would be kind of interesting to have on there. Okay, let's play it with A. Oh. So here's a case where you don't want Link on because it turned it on for the scary piano scrape, which I don't want. I just want the wave shaper. So make sure that you check your link that you're not doing. I just want it on the B, on the cello. Spirit bass. So let's assign this. If you want to get into crazy, non-repetitive rhythms, a good way to do that is to use an LFO. One thing to know about the shaper, 2 and 4 have a volume control in them. So it totally goes away because of the type of a table. It's putting the sound through this non-linear table that's taking the waveform values and shifting them. And 2 and 4 include volume changing because of the way that the curve is. 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 are not. So you still hear it. So if you really want dramatic effects, use 2 or 4 for this type of thing. So I want it to pop in and pop totally out. It's like you've got the first grade horn player going through a distortion box. And then go to rate. And let's modulate that with its own LFO that's really fast. And maybe a different wave shape, maybe random or something. Oh, here we go. 2. And turn it down. Okay. That's scary. So, let's say we want to stop there. So we go to, here's the process. You go save, patch, as, and you navigate to the patches, to the user folder, and make sure your user folder looks like this, right? We talked about that earlier. This would be texture soundscape. Texture's playable, has more of a pitch. You can play melodies and so forth. Soundscape is more like just some sort of a sound bed. And this is, we'll call it a drone. Lost in the swamp. Yeah, that works. So before you can save, if I try to hit save now, it's going to pop up this message saying 1 or more required attributes do not have an assigned value. See this red box? These 5 parameters have to be filled out before it will let you save it. So you have to go through the tagging process and at least assign something. So mood, somebody's angry, although it's dark, it's disturbing, eerie, not majestic, nightmarish for sure, scary, suspenseful. There's additional names here, and if the name doesn't exist, you can hit the plus button and name your own attribute if you want to do that. If you're working on a, well, you'd probably use keywords. If you're working on like a film project or an album project, you could use a keyword. Go here, type in your keyword for the album projects. That way you can search later for all the sounds from an album project. Really handy. Next up, genre, film, experimental, kind of sound effects. Ambient, if it's like really scary. This complexity confuses people sometimes. This is how complex in your mix How much of the mix does this take up? It actually takes up a fairly decent amount, so I'll say 1 and 2, depending on how you want to use it. The type, darkness, complex motion, edgy underground. Could be a scoring element. All right. Author is me. You could give it a library name if you wanted. That's where I put my library name, is right here. So I'm gonna name this Plugin Guru BOOOO. And 2017, because I expect I will do this next year, and we'll do even more. Guru.com. Scary. What's the Xperia bass and tone and HAR harmony mod wheel. And I do this for every patch. Every patch has lots of detailed notes. If you've ever bought any of my libraries, please take the time to read the notes. All of us that make patches for Plugin Guru love to give comments. You'll find out what the mod wheel does. You'll find out some thoughts behind it, some of the unique programming parameters, tools being used. Yeah. Okay. So there's one. So let's initialize multi. Let's do one more. If you have questions, pop up into the, I'm watching on YouTube, watch the YouTube chat, ask a question away. And I'm happy to answer them as we do this. Let's say we want to go samples. This is really more about getting in. There's stuff you could do with synthesis too. Maybe we'll do that. Let's do a synth for this. Let's have some sort of a cool, like, but it's a big bass thing, right? So I'm going to come up in volume. Let's zoom this out. And then I'm going to hit lock so that I can like go like this and it takes that down with me. And I want more of this shape. I want it to be like, and I want this to be more dramatic for the first, and then add with the right click. So I get a little bit of a bump. Let's see, let's make this shorter so there we go. Okay, so we have kind of the idea for the shape of the sound. Let's have it go, let's go here, take it down 1 or 2 octaves. By the way, I have to point out, these are my 64 audio in-ear monitors. I tell you, I'm going to be doing a review in a week or two. They're incredible. I've never used monitors like this, anything in my ear that I could say I trust to get something that when I play it on my speakers, it sounds the way I expect. Everything is the transference rate from what I hear in these monitors in my ears to when they become in the speakers in my room are just shocking, truly shocking. So if you need in-ear monitors, if you're going to be traveling and you're going to be someplace with an environment you don't trust, you need something like this to take with you. And I can't recommend 64audio.com. They're in-ear monitors enough. They're incredible. Love, love, love these things. Let's go unison. Maybe I want this. I can right click, and here's a cool thing. I'm going to go down and I'm going to assign this to be modulated with the amp envelope. That's one reason why I want to get the shape of that envelope straight, so that I can have it so that right? So I have this growth shape that I can now assign to different things. So let's say that'd be cool to give it a unique sound. So just go down to right click and say amp envelope. And let's have it also reduce the sample rate just to see what that sounds like, to get a little bit of a tweak to that. So and I want to do this. So let's go to the unison. I want it to rest a little bit more detuned. So here's my starting point, right? Cool. Kind of a cool pitch thing happening in there. And then on top of this, let's find a sample that might work. Let's say, let's use the searching attribute thing and find something. So let's say lo-fi texture from the core library. There are none, okay? Oh, because I have insane as my search. So let's go back to lo-fi, hits textures. Not quite right. Piano scrapes. I used those earlier. Psychoacoustic effects. There's that might be cool if I was to put an envelope on this so it fades in. Just give it something that's like there, kind of falling in and out of tune. And let's put a filter on A. Let's have this follow along. There we go. So see this stuff that I had happening with the wave shaper, when that gets played through the filter and then the filter closes on it, you're going to get this really cool. And if you take that and you put it through some sort of like a 3-time delay, so there's a center, a left, and a right delay. Right? And then sometimes after that, I'll put a delay that is more straight ahead tempo, like a quarter note, just to try to keep it a little bit more. And let's do this. Let's go to the tone and bring it up to be a little bit brighter. So it's playing with all these different taps. Like 3 tap into a 1 tap after that is fun. Cool. Now, because of lots of experience, I can tell you right now, this nice warm burning piano bending effect, that is begging for distortion, my friends. It's nice and round. There's not any harsh frequencies. So we can go to the distortions. I still like, there's other ones, but the flame distortion is still one of my favorites. You can get such really nice there we go. So let's go and have this be following the same amp envelope as everything else, right? Oh, this is following the B layer envelope. It's not quite as exciting. So, we want to take this A envelope. I want to use that for that distortion on the B layer. How would I do that? Well, luckily we can copy an envelope and we can paste it to these other envelopes that are not being used. So let's go to mod envelope, let's say 4, and make it polyphonic so that if we play different notes, it resets itself appropriately, and say paste. And there it is. So now I can go to the effects, and it still has it set up to say amp envelope, but now I'm going to say mod envelope 4, and now mod envelope for wave shaper sampling rate. Oh. Whoops. Here's where this new ability inside of Omnisphere is really nice. Undo. 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 There. Now it's back to the amp envelope. I messed up. But multiple undos are now available inside of Omnisphere. So I have undone it back to where it's correct. Now I can right click on this and say show envelope, and now it changes to let's see here, show. Interesting. So it's showing it because of why? Why is it doing that? So if I'm here, effects, B, and I say show, there it is. So amp envelope is not right for the flame distortion mix. We want mod envelope 4. We need to be more dramatic, so we need to, let's find our distortion we like. And let's use that too. So we're gonna have both the volume, and right click on this and say also modulate this with amp mod envelope 4. Find our resting point we want it to be at. And then let's put just a nice delay. And let's make it slower. Now you notice it's repeating. I didn't check this. Maybe I like it. Go to mod envelope 4. It's set to sync, and it's set to loop. So if I'm going to do this and use that, I would use snap, and I would set this up so this way if I have, let's get a sequence playing. So let's go, let's use contact 5. I'm going to show you one of the alternate effects inside of Super Macho Drums. So go to Super Macho Drums, to the Mega Macho Drums. Down here below all this stuff, we get to some rather kind of fun other things. Groove bits, hits, tone drums, vocal drums. Maybe the impulsive bits would be fun. Let's go global. This way, whatever I'm doing, it's doing to all of them. So I want them all to be filtered. So I have all these sound effects. So I can, oh wait, wrong tempo. Let's slow it down to be like 80 beats per minute. There we go. And of course it's playing my demo songs. But I heard the click. So hopefully if I go over here and quantize, yeah, so it's got this cool thing, and I believe we're to clock. We'll double check here. Loop. And since we're set to global, let's go to time. Oh, we need to have sync on. Go to tone verb. Let's get something like. Cool. Now, if I wanted to, on top of this, you could add like a normal kit. You could add, let's go hiding this, and let's call up one other kit, and let's have this be maybe down this list to something like modular max or hyperliquid would be cool. So I need to go to logic and say that that track is supposed to be MIDI channel 1. There we go. So let's do it. 1, 2. Okay. So just to have a little groove so we know where the time is. Okay. Now, if we go back to Omnisphere, it's looping at the right time. Okay, so that would be the start to a really interesting patch. Right? And we've already got ourselves a cool groove to work with. Yes. There's all this talk about. I have Genelec monitors here. I love them to death. The 8340s, their ceramic body, the accuracy of them is, and the detail, the low end clarity for a 6.5-inch speaker just blows me away. So I will share that with you. Let's save this. Oh, we don't have the module doing anything yet, do we? This might be a fun one to bring in like a harmonia effect. Let's pan these. Let's bring it down so you don't hear it. It's gone. Until you use the mod wheel. Go mod wheel. That's cool. Maybe we would want a little wave shaper now. To right click, have this be controlled with the wheel too, so that way. So in my groove, I get. You could do stuff like that pretty easy. Cool. I like that. You could make it more dramatic. Let's make it more dramatic. One way to do that is to we're on layer B. This is that pad with the distortion sound that we have. Let's go to EQ like the 7 band and play. I think 1 would be a good candidate. So you right click, say modulation wheel. Not the whole range because it's like 18 dB add it. It can be rather extreme, but you say wheel, add some to both of these parts. Now it's a lot more dramatic. And let's say, quite often I use the auxiliary bus on the master. I'm not doing that. I want to use it right here on just that B layer, that sound that's got the distortion and this stuff happening. I want to be able to send that to the auxiliary bus. I'm going to put a reverb that's just going to be sitting here at 100%, really long and really bright with, let's say, some distortion after it, like something like even like a high rock. Let's see what this sounds like. So here it is normal. Then I use the mod wheel. Take the high end down and make the high end fall down faster. Bring this down and make the time shorter. So it goes away quicker. So that will scare your trick-or-treaters to death. Mommy, I don't want to go to that house. No. Cool. All right. Oh, and I don't even have layer A on. Let's turn on layer A. Oh my God. Now I don't want to go to that house. Cool. And you'll notice we haven't really done anything yet to the common effects. We could do just a little sweetening. If you were to add something like, say, a compressor to glue everything together. See how that glued it together? Here's without it. It just gives it a little bit more presence. Maybe a 3-band EQ to like just sweeten the high end and go to like maybe 100 and okay, now it's starting to get really scary. And then put a limiter on it just to make sure you're not, and you can bring the limiter all the way down if you want. Cool. Now, let's compare without these three effects what it sounds like. Okay. Here's with those three effects added. Hear how much more glued together, present. That's why using these as like mastering effects. This is kind of what you do when you're mastering a song. You kind of glue the mix together. You tweak the sounds of it with the EQ a little bit to get the exact curve that you want. And then a limiter just to add extra glue and make sure that it doesn't go over. And I can bring this up even more because I'm looking at my levels and I'm not at 0 yet. So. All right, what do we call this? What would be a good name for this? We have people speaking German in the chat. Nice. What would we name this? Don't go in the basement. That's a good Good idea. Big E. Oh! I like that. I like it. I haven't seen that movie. That's what I'm waiting for Halloween to see. I've heard it's appropriately scary. Has it gotten colder? Alright, save patch as. Let's call this a drone. It. I like that. It's angry, disturbing, intense for sure. Nightmarish, suspenseful. Genre, definitely film, sound effect. Could be experimental, sure. We'll call it simple type. Darkness. There's definitely some distortion going on. Not really a rumbler, but almost. Wild effects, that's cool. And I am the author. Plug in Guru Boo. 2017. All right. Made during the YouTube live stream on 10/07/17. Nice, scary sound with amp EG, doing a lot of modulation work to lots of different parameters at once. Mod wheel when you need to be scared to death. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, let's do this. Let's have on this auxiliary bus, let's use the imager. And let's have it do some auto panning, but not what you think. Instead of being like a slow thing, this might be cool to do it like 16th notes or something like that. Because yeah. And let's get even more insane. Go to filter, power filter. This is where the power of Omnisphere is just pretty much unparalleled. Let's have it so it's really dark. And then modulate this with the wheel too. So when we bring that up, we're controlling it. It's not just sitting there, you know. Kind of became complex. there is it. Now I'm gonna just do a save patch quick. Since I'd already saved it, this is a cool shortcut. If you want to update a patch that you've saved in the past, you've called up the patch. Quite often the day after I make a patch, I'll call it back up and play it, and here's something else to do. I modify it, I'm happy. Just go save patch quick. It says, are you sure? Say yes. I don't have to go through that process of tagging and naming comments. Just update it and it's done. So it's updated it to include now the imager and the power filter. So there. Now, sound like this when you get into extreme scary stuff. This pitch bend up and down range is way too tame. So we'll have it set to 24 so we can like. You can do some crazy. You know, so you put that. Yeah. You know the name. Yeah. All right. So that is about to wrap up the day. So this coming week, I designed this community programming event so that it would start today, go past next week, and into a little bit of the week after, so that if you have questions in the coming week, send them to me, john@pluginguru.com, or support@pluginguru.com. Either one I'll get. And ask questions if things don't make sense. I want you guys to get more comfortable with playing with these plugins you have. So we'll do maybe we'll try to do one a month. I don't know. We'll see how this works out. But it might be more than I can manage. All right. So that is the programming community event, community programming event, CPE. Any questions? Ask away. We've got a few more minutes before I shut down for the day. Hopefully this gave you guys some food for thought. Omnisphere doesn't really work without a lot of setup for the Rolly C board. So that's why it's just a mod wheel and pitch bend. And I should point out, I don't use this a lot, but the pitch bend is available, not here, but on all mod sources, pitch bender is available so that you can have it, and it's dual direction. So you would want, if you used it, to have something like here, so that when you go up, it would go up, and when you go down, it would go down. But you can use the pitch bend as the modulation source. You could go over here to pitch and turn this to be 0. And now I could have the pitch bend be changing other parameters beyond just pitch. It's actually capable of being set up to do stuff like that. So, and then if you want to get to these patches, just remember you go down to the user folder, and here they are. That's scary. That's pretty scary too. So, okay. So, cool. I'll add those to the BOOOO library that will be coming out before Halloween. It will be a very nicely priced trick-or-treat library of Omnisphere patches. And it will include all the patches that you guys contribute between now and the end of this community programming event. All right. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for hanging out. And I can't believe all the stuff they were talking about. Great discussion in there. Oh, shout out. Location shout out. Where are you guys at? I'll do a shout out for Portland. Woo! Tell us where you're at. I'll call them out. Planet Earth. Yes. Sweden. Munich, Finland. Copenhagen. Nice. Heidelberg, Germany. Romania. State College, Germany. Hi, Bernie. I talked to Bernie earlier this week. That was really fun. Ottawa, Paris, Sweden. Awesome. You guys are everywhere. We're global, baby. Big E. Florida. Tucson, Arizona. Skippy, will you be doing the patch recreate thing? Yes. If you send me a patch to recreate, let me know. I will. Or Caitlin, explain a little bit more. What do you mean? Noise from beyond. I love that. Flagstaff. Waltham, Massachusetts. Nice. Yeah, Catalin, let me know what you mean exactly. I'm not sure exactly. Patch recreate thing. This is recreating from nothing. Maybe send me an email if you want. All right. We are out of here. Peace to all. Thank you for joining. It's a lot of fun. And program. I want to hear cool patches. Even if it's just one. If you just make one, everyone should commit to making at least one patch in the coming 10 days. You can do it. Start from scratch. Don't forget to like the video. Thank you. And send me the patch. I'll give you guys details next week of where to send patches. Okay? The patch create contest. I heard in your last stream that you will be recreating sounds we don't know how to do. Ah, yes. Well, if you send me a how do you make the sound, I didn't have one sent to me this week that there was a couple that were more like if it's like a pad sound, it's like what's making that? Those are hard to do. But if you have like an interesting technical, like how is BT doing this? Or how is somebody else doing something, for example? Send me a question and we will look at it. I didn't have one this week except for the percussa, which is a great question because it led right into what we're doing with the sounds and with the imager effect. It was really cool. So that worked out great. It all works out good. But yeah, send me an email if you have a question for a specific example of something you're not sure of how they're doing. And we'll figure it out together. All right? Peace to you all. See you later. Bye.